Claire Hanna alongside Post Media's Bruce Garrioch. And tonight, Brady Tkachuk will miss his second straight game, his fourth of the season, as the Ottawa Senators host the Tampa Bay Lightning. And for the Ottawa Senators, they are 0-3 when their captain is out of the lineup. Now, when you heard Travis Green talking about the status of Brady Tkachuk being day-to-day, did you sense that it was day-to-day, or could he be out longer?
Well, I wasn't really surprised that he's not playing tonight because there were a handful of players on the ice yesterday while the rest were having an off-ice workout, Claire, and Brady Tkachuk wasn't among them. So that tells me that Tkachuk maybe has taken a step back here and needs to get some rest and get ready for the playoff run. Look, I think the thing you have to read into Travis Green's words when you're talking about injuries. And one of the things that he did not say is that Brady Tkachuk is out month to month. So that tells me that Tkachuk is going to be back sooner rather than later. I don't believe this is anything more than a day-to-day situation from what I've been told. I think that the obvious fact here is that the Senators want Brady Tkachuk as close to 100% as he can be going into the postseason. He's already been playing with a hip problem. We know that. So whatever happened after that hit from Ryan Graves in Pittsburgh, I think they want to take the opportunity here to give him as much time as he needs. This doesn't mean anything, but I'll tell you anything. He didn't look any worse for wear while we were standing outside the Tampa Bay dressing room waiting for John Cooper this morning as he walked by heading to his car for an afternoon nap.
The Senators definitely want Brady Tkachuk back in their lineup, though. He's their leading goal scorer. He also leads the power play with 14 goals. And when you look at their last two losses to Pittsburgh and then on Tuesday night as well, it was really their power play that struggled. 0 for 9 in their last 4 games. So were you surprised that he was going to be out of the lineup tonight? But bigger picture, just how concerned are you with how the Senators might perform without their captain?
Well, it's been tough for them, especially Brady Tkachuk has 16 points, including 12 goals. In 10 games here at the Canadian Tire Center against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So you're taking a pretty big piece out of your lineup. Brady Tkachuk is the straw that stirs the drink. He leads his team into battle every night. We saw the power play struggle without him, but it was struggling with him beforehand. The Senators have got to get the job done here, and they need to learn to win without their captain. You already mentioned, Claire, that they're winless in 3 games without him. We saw Brady Tkachuk at the Four Nations face-off as a breakout player. John Cooper called it his coming out party. I really think we saw playoff Brady Tkachuk at that tournament, and I do think we're going to see Brady Tkachuk in the playoffs. But the Senators have to get there, and they have to figure out a way to get there and win without him if he's not available. And if he's not available on the weekend against the Florida Panthers and the Columbus Blue Jackets, then the Senators will have to adjust. But I know one thing, they want him as close to 100% as possible, so they're not going to do anything that could put him further in harm's way.
Now, the Ottawa Senators do still sit in that first wildcard playoff spot. Their cushion right now, just 4 points. Now, thinking about the league, there's a number of star players who are missing from lineups. I think about Connor McDavid with the Edmonton Oilers. But this is a more sensitive market, given the fact that they haven't seen the playoffs in 7 years. So how does the temperature affect Ottawa with Brady out?
Well, I think, is there panic in the streets? I think that might be going a little bit far. But I do think people here are wildly concerned because this team is trying to make the playoffs for the first time since 2017. And all of a sudden, they lost to the Buffalo Sabres, got swept by them, outscored 16-5 during the season series. They weren't very good. In fact, they were dreadful in that game. I think, now you've got the Tampa Bay Lightning coming in, a team that they've struggled with this season. Then you've got the Florida Panthers and the Columbus Blue Jackets. But I think people here need to relax a little bit, Claire. And I should probably be looking to touch wood around here somewhere, but we don't have any, so I'll touch glass. And I'll say that they would have to completely collapse in their final 8 games of the regular season to miss the playoffs. I don't think that's going to happen. We haven't seen any evidence that that is going to happen. Here's some things that have to happen. Number one, their goaltender has to get his act together because he wasn't very good against the Buffalo Sabres. And if you look at his numbers from March, as much as he won all his games, his numbers weren't great. Number two, They've got to get their 5-on-5 scoring together. And number 3, you talked about it earlier, the power play. The Senators are still well positioned to make the postseason. The teams behind them are going to have to run the playoffs, basically. Now, they may make it wild card too, but they're very well positioned to make the playoffs. Be shocked if we're not sitting here at the end of the regular season saying this team is in the playoffs and getting ready for what opponent they're going to face.
Now, there was some positive news after practice today, or during practice. Yeah. We saw Nick Cousins wearing the yellow non-contact jersey. He, of course, had that knee-on-knee collision against the Toronto Maple Leafs back at the end of January. There was sense that he wouldn't play in the regular season, but do you think the Senators might see him back in the lineup before the end of the season's over?
Well, as old Eagle Eye pointed out on Question Period the other night, Claire, that Cousins was back in the dressing room, his equipment was back in the dressing room, and that bodes well for a return. I really think that Nick Cousins could be a valuable commodity going into the playoffs and in playoff games. I think the expectation is he'd like to return before the regular season ends. The Senators have 8 games left. He obviously won't play against the Lightning. But if he can get back in some contact, and it's going to be difficult at this time of year because I don't have many practices, but I do anticipate that he will play before the end of the regular season and certainly be available as an option to coach Travis Green going into the postseason.
And he's definitely a player the Senators want to see back, a feisty member, usually playing on the 4th line. And the Senators haven't seen him in action since January 25th.